Hello everyone. In today's slide, you will learn immunoblotting techniques. In this, the topics we'll cover will be ELISA, Western blotting, Southern blotting, genetic organization of eukaryotes and prokaryotes. So, if we talk about ELISA, ELISA stands for Enzyme-Linked Immunosorbent Assay. It is a plate-based assay technique designed for detecting and quantifying peptides, proteins, antibodies, and hormones. In an ELISA, an antigen must be immobilized to a solid surface and then it is complexed with an antibody that is linked to an enzyme. Detection is accomplished by assessing the conjugated enzyme activity via incubation with substrate to produce a measurable product. The crucial element of detection strategy is highly specific antigen-antibody interaction. ELISAs are typically performed in 96 well or 384 well polystyrene plates, which will passively bind antibodies and proteins. It is this binding and immobilization of reagents that makes ELISA so easy to design and perform. Talking about principle, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assays or ELISA principle are very similar to other immunoassay technologies. ELISAs rely on specific antibodies to bind the target antigen and a detection system to indicate the presence and quantity of antigen binding. In order to maximize the sensitivity and precision of the assay, the plate must be carefully coated with high affinity antibodies. If you talk about procedure, an ELISA begins with coating step in which the first layer consisting of target antigen or antibody is absorbed on a 96 well polystyrene plate. इसमें हमने adsorption करनी होती है, absorption नहीं. Following by a blocking step in which all the unbound sites are coated with a blocking agent. ब्लॉकिंग एजेंट में जितनी भी हमारी ब्लैंक साइट जो अनबाउंड साइट्स होती है उनको हम ब्लॉक कर देते हैं, उसको कोट कर देते हैं विद अ ब्लॉकिंग एजेंट. उसके बाद हम सीरीज ऑफ वॉशिंग देते हैं ताकि कोई भी अगर अनबाउंड हमारा एंटीजन या हमारा ब्लॉकिंग में एजेंट जो है वो अगर प्रेजेंट है तो वो वॉश आउट हो जाए. देन द प्लेट इज इंक्यूबेटेड विद एंजाइम कॉन्जुगेटेड एंटीबॉडी. अनदर series of washing is given to remove all the unbound antibody. A substrate is then added, producing a calorimetric signal. Finally, the plate is read. Because the assay uses surface binding for separation, several washes are repeated in each ELISA step to remove unbound material. इसमें हमारा जो डिटेक्शन वाला स्टेप है दैट डिपेंड्स हम डिटेक्टर कौन से टाइप का यूज़ कर रहे हैं, हमारी रिएक्शन कौन से टाइप की है. अगर हमारी ड्यूरिंग दिस प्रोसेस जो हमारी एसेंशियल जो लिक्विड रिमूवल होता है वो बहुत ज़्यादा हमारा एसेंशियल होता है टू प्रिवेंट द डाइल्यूशन ऑफ द सोल्यूशन एडेड इन द नेक्स्ट एसे स्टेप. टू इंश्योर यूनिफॉर्मिटी, स्पेशलाइज्ड plate washers are used. ELISAs can be quite complex and include multiple intervening steps, especially when measuring the protein concentration in heterogeneous samples such as blood. The most complex and varying step is in the overall process is detection, where multiple layers of antibodies can be used to amplify signal. If we talk about ELISA types, there are mainly 4 types: direct ELISA, indirect ELISA, sandwich ELISA, competitive ELISA. Advantages of ELISA: it is highly sensitive and highly specific. It is common for ELISAs to detect antigen at picogram level in very specific manner due to the use of antibodies. It has high throughput. The commercial ELISA kits are normally available in 96 well plate format, but can easily be adapted to 384 well plates. It is easy to perform. The protocols are easy to follow and involve little hand-on time. Quantitative, it can determine the concentration of antigen in a sample. Possibility to test various sample types, serum, plasma, cellular, tissue extract, urine and saliva can be tested via this method. Disadvantages. Temporary readouts. Detection is based on enzyme and substrate reaction, therefore readout must be obtained in a short time span. Limited antigen information limited to the amount or presence of antigen in the sample is limited. So types of ELISA. Direct ELISA. In direct ELISA, the antigen is immobilized to the surface of multi-well plate and detected with an antibody specific for antigen. The antibody is directly conjugated to HRP or other detection molecules. In indirect ELISA is a technique that uses two-step process for detection, whereby a primary antibody specific for the antigen binds to the target and a labeled secondary antibody against the host species of the primary antibody binds to the primary antibody for detection. For indirect ELISA assay, the antigen is immobilized to the surface of the multi-well plate. The method can also be used to detect specific antibodies in a serum sample by substituting the serum from the primary antibody. Third is our sandwich ELISA. Sandwich ELISA or sandwich immunoassay is the most commonly used format. This format requires two antibodies specific for different epitope of the antigen. The two antibodies are normally referred to as matched antibody pairs. One of the antibodies is coated on the surface of well plate, multi-well plate, and used as a capture antibody to facilitate the immobilization of the antigen. The other antibody is conjugated and facilitated the detection of antigen. Competitive ELISA, also known as inhibition ELISA or competitive immunoassay. Competitive ELISA assay measure the concentration of an antigen by detection of signal interference. Each of the previous format can be adapted to the competitive format. The sample antigen competes with a reference antigen for binding to a specific amount of labeled antibody. The reference antigen is pre-coated on a multi-well plate and sample is pre-incubated with labeled antibody and added to the wells. Depending on the amount of antigen in the sample, more or less free antibodies will be available to bind the reference antigen. This means the more antigen there is in the sample, the less reference antigen will be detected and weaker will be the signal. Next we have blotting techniques. Blotting is used in molecular biology for identification of proteins, nucleic acids, and is widely used for diagnostic purposes. This technique immobilizes the molecule of interest on a support, which is a nitrocellulose membrane or nylon. It uses hybridization technique for the identification of specific nucleic acids and genera. The blotting technique is a tool used in the identification of biomolecules such as our DNA, mRNA and proteins during different stages of gene expression. Protein synthesis involves expression of a DNA segment that gets converted to mRNA to produce the respective protein. Molecules such as DNA, RNA and proteins are subjected to biochemistry analysis, which are separated using blotting techniques. In case of a cell, these molecules are present all together, hence with the help of blotting scientists, we are able to recognize the specific molecule out of all others. Blotting is performed by allowing a mixture of molecules of interest to pass through a gel which separates the molecule based on their molecular size. इसके बाद हम क्या करते हैं, जो हमारे मॉलिक्यूल्स होते हैं जो हमारी इसमें जेल में सेपरेट हो जाते हैं, उसके बाद हम उसको हार्ड प्रेस करते हैं अगेंस्ट अ सूटेबल मेम्ब्रेन which in turn transfer the molecule from gel onto a suitable membrane. Like अगर हम नायलॉन यूज़ करें तो नायलॉन पे ट्रांसफ़र हो जाएगा, नाइट्रोसेल्यूलोज यूज़ कर रहे हैं तो नाइट्रोसेल्यूलोज पे ट्रांसफ़र हो जाएगा. इन केस अगर हम PVDF यूज़ कर रहे हैं तो उस पर ट्रांसफ़र हो जाता है वाया कैपिलरी एक्शन. आफ्टर जो हमारा मॉलिक्यूल जब ट्रांसफ़र हो जाता है टू द मेम्ब्रेन, देयर पोजीशन डू नॉट चेंज. उनकी जो पोजीशन होती है उसमें कोई चेंज नहीं आता है. Southern blotting was introduced by Edwin Southern in 1975 as a method to detect specific sequences of DNA in DNA samples. The other blotting techniques emerged from this method have been termed as Northern for RNA, Western for proteins, and Eastern for post-translational protein modification. Southwestern for DNA protein interaction blotting. Subtypes of blotting such as northern, western, southern depends upon the target molecule that is being sought. When a DNA sequence is the foundation or code of the protein molecule, the particular DNA molecule of interest can be blotted using southern blotting technique. During gene expression, when the DNA is expressed as mRNA for a protein production, this process can be identified by northern blotting. Finally, the recorded mRNA produces the concerned protein. This protein identification can be done by Western blot. Western blot. Western blot is a laboratory method used to detect specific protein molecule from among a mixture of proteins. इसमें हम जो हमारे पास मिक्सचर ऑफ प्रोटीन्स है उसमें से एक सर्टेन मॉलिक्यूल को हम डिटेक्ट कर सकते हैं, स्पेसिफिक प्रोटीन मॉलिक्यूल को. दिस मिक्सचर कैन इंक्लूड ऑल द प्रोटीन एसोसिएटेड विद अ particular tissue or a cell type. The Western blot can also be used to evaluate the size of protein of interest and to measure the amount of protein expression. कितना हमारा प्रोटीन प्रेजेंट है, कितना हमारा प्रोटीन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट साइज है, वो सब कुछ हम इसमें इवेलुएट कर सकते हैं. दिस प्रोसीजर वॉज नेम्ड फॉर इट्स सिमिलैरिटी टू द प्रीवियस invented method known as the southern blot. The first step is in a Western blot is to prepare the protein sample by mixing it with a detergent called sodium dodecyl sulfase, which makes the protein unfold into linear chain and coats then with a negative charge. The protein molecules are separated according to their size using a method called gel electrophoresis. Following the separation, the protein are transferred from gel onto a blotting membrane. This step is the name which actually gives this process is named Western blotting. The term is typically used to describe the entire procedure. Once the transfer is complete, the membrane carries all the protein bands originally on the gel. उनको वो जब हम ट्रांसफ़र कंप्लीट कर देते तो हमारी मेम्ब्रेन के ऊपर, जैसे हमने प्रीवियस मेथड में पढ़ा था कि हमारी मेम्ब्रेन के ऊपर वो ट्रांसफ़र हो जाते हैं, और आफ्टर ट्रांसफ़र वो उसमें हम एक ट्रीटमेंट देते हैं जिसे हम ब्लॉकिंग बोलते हैं, बिकॉज ऑफ विच इट प्रिवेंट्स एनी नॉन स्पेसिफिक रिएक्शन फ्रॉम अकरिंग. The membrane is then incubated with an antibody called primary antibody, which specifically binds to the protein of interest. Following incubation, any unbound primary antibody is washed away and the membrane is incubated yet again, but this time with a secondary antibody that specifically recognizes and binds to the primary antibody. The secondary antibody is linked to a reporter enzyme that produces a color or light which allows it to be easily detected or imaged. These steps permit a specific protein to be detected from among a mixture of proteins. Southern blotting. The first of these techniques were developed was the Southern blot, and it was named after Dr. Edwin Southern, who developed it to identify specific DNA sequence. Southern blotting is a detection technique used to find the target DNA sequence in the DNA sample in the field of molecular biology. In this process of electrophoresis starts from electrophoresis of DNA molecule, which are hybridized in a blotting membrane, followed by transfer step where DNA from gel is transferred onto blotting membrane. Southern blotting is based on principle the restriction endonuclease, which is an enzyme. It is used to break the DNA into smaller fragments. These fragments are then separated using electrophoresis. The fragments achieved is then classified according to their size. DNA fragments are transferred to the blotting paper where it is incubated with probes. The probes used in southern blotting, they are highly selective. They can selectively bind with a resolution of 1 in a million and the characteristics to bind to the intended target fragment. So next topic is organization of genetic material in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. If we talk about eukaryotes and prokaryotes, as we all know, eukaryotic chromosome are housed in a membrane bound nucleus and most prokaryotes contain a single circular chromosome that is found in an area of the cytoplasm called nucleoid. The eukaryotes have a well defined nuclear structure, whereas as we know prokaryotes have a nucleoid not so defined structure. A chromosome may contain several thousand genes. Talking about organization of eukaryotic chromosomes, the chromosome structure differs some but between eukaryotes and prokaryotic cells. Eukaryotic chromosomes are typically linear. Eukaryotic cells contain multiple distinct chromosomes. Many eukaryotic cells contain 2 copies of each chromosome and therefore they are diploid. The length of a chromosome greatly exceeds the length of the cell, so a chromosome needs to be packed into a very small space to fit within the cell. Supercoiling may result in DNA that is either underbound, that is less than 1 turn of the helix per 10 base pairs, or overbound, more than 1 turn per 10 base pairs from its normal relaxed state. Proteins known to be involved in supercoiling include topoisomerases. These enzymes help maintain the structure of supercoiled chromosomes, preventing overwinding of the DNA during certain cellular processes like DNA replication. During the DNA packaging, DNA binding protein called histone, they perform various levels of DNA wrapping and attachment of scaffolding proteins. The combination of the DNA with these attached proteins is referred to as chromatin. In eukaryotes, the packaging of DNA by histone may be influenced by environmental factors that affect the presence of methyl group on certain cytosine nucleosides of DNA. The influence of environmental factors on DNA packaging is called epigenetics. Epigenetics is another mechanism for regulating the gene expression without altering the sequence of nucleotide. Epigenetic changes can be maintained through multiple rounds of cell division and therefore can be heritable. If we talk about organization of prokaryotic chromosomes, chromosomes in bacteria and archaea are usually circular, and in prokaryotic cell typically contains only one single chromosome within the nucleoid. Because the chromosome contains only one copy of each gene, prokaryotes are haploid. As in eukaryotic cells, DNA supercoiling is necessary for genome to fit within the prokaryotic cells. The DNA in the bacterial chromosome is arranged in several supercoiled domains. As with the eukaryotes, topoisomerases are involved in supercoiling of DNA. DNA gyrase is a type of topoisomerase. It is found in bacteria and some archaea that prevents the overwinding of DNA. Some antibiotics actually kill the bacteria by targeting this DNA gyrase, and which is the main enzyme responsible for preventing the overwinding of DNA, and as a result DNA gets deactivated. In addition, histone-like proteins bind DNA and aid the DNA packaging. Other proteins bind to the origin of replication, the ORI region. the location of the chromosome where DNA replication initiates. Because different regions of DNA are packed differently, some regions of chromosomal DNA are more accessible to the enzyme and thus may be used more readily as templates for gene expression. Several bacteria, including Helicobacter pylori, Shigella, flexneri, have been shown to induce epigenetic changes in their host upon infection, leading to chromatin remodeling that may cause long-term effects on host immunity. So here is a diagram differentiating between the eukaryote and prokaryote. As you can see, the organelles in eukaryote are well defined, whereas in in the prokaryotes, the nucleus is not well defined structure. I sum up here this part of this chapter. Thank you.